Hey everyone, welcome to episode 100 of the Twim Show. This is your host Sajid Islam, and today I'll be going over the notable news and updates from the week of March 14, 2022. And I am so excited that, this is episode number 100, right? When I first started this show, I did not realize that I would be able to come this far, but one step at a time, 1 week at a time. I'm here. Thank you for listening, and let's dive into the digital marketing updates. So first off, we have updates from Pinterest. Pinterest is now allowing you to download your idea pins and share it to other platforms, notably or most likely to IG stories and FB stories. Now, this is something, Pinterest announced idea pins last year, and, obviously, you were doing it. It's a multi-canvas post, which is basically you can embed up to 20 seconds of video. You can have multiple pages, things like that. It's like similar to Instagram's carousel post. Now, what's interesting is obviously, back in the day when TikTok first started, it allowed, the way TikTok got viral is that TikTok would allow you to download your TikToks and share it with other platforms. So now I think Pinterest realized, hey, we should allow other people to do that. Maybe that way, we will get some, more traction because people will hear about, oh shit, there is this other platform called Pinterest and all these nice things are happening on Pinterest. And actually that's what happened with TikTok. That's how I found out about TikTok. So talking about it, so when you download your idea pins from Pinterest, obviously it's going to have the Pinterest logo, and then you can upload it to Instagram or FB stories. Now, the thing is, obviously it's going to have the Pinterest watermark, and I'm pretty sure Instagram at some point is going to come out and say, hey, if there is a Pinterest watermark, we are not going to we are not going to give you we're going to cap your reach. Just similar to what Instagram did with TikTok videos. Now, there are two things. Number one is there are platforms that exists that will remove the watermark from your video, from your text and things like that. You could either use that, or number two is you could still do Pinterest, and then what you can do is you can, just deal with it. At a minimum, so look at it. Right now, say you're posting on Pinterest and you don't post on Instagram, or you post on Pinterest and now you have to download it, upload it, recreate all these things. You know what? Might as well just post it on Instagram let Instagram reach, cap your reach. But at a minimum, something is better than nothing, right? I'm not suggesting that you do a sloppy job, but I'm just saying, if you have to choose between nothing and something, I would rather go with something, right? The other thing I want to tell you is that the Pinterest will, when you download it, it's going to resize it according to whichever platform you choose, you're going to publish it to. So that's great. With that, let's move on to the next update. The next update is on Instagram. With Instagram is that Instagram is now allowing you to assign a moderator during IG live stream. This is something people have been complaining about, because say you go to a live and there are people who come in, they heckle you, they harass you, things like that. If you have a moderator, they can kick them out, manage questions and things like that. This is actually much needed feature. So I'm glad that Instagram has decided to bring it on. And who knows, maybe Instagram is going to follow Pinterest and allow you to download your IG multi-carousel post and allow you to publish it to other platforms. But we'll see. I won't hold my breath. But the way Instagram has been copying features that work on other platforms, maybe they will copy this one. Okay, let's move on to the next update. The next update is on WordPress. Usually we do not cover in depth on WordPress. However, because a lot of businesses out there have, websites on WordPress, I thought this is a prudent thing to cover. WordPress core team, which is basically the company or the team that makes WordPress. WordPress is open source, so basically, we don't get charged for it, but there is a company behind it that and it's called Automatic, and they actually put together programmers, they contribute the resources, and they maintain the WordPress repository, things like that. So they have this plugin they have released this plugin called the Performance Lab plugin, and what this is going to do is it's going to give you I wouldn't call it a beta feature, but it's going to give you the cutting edge, leading edge features that will help you speed up your website, identify things that could be slowing down your website and things like that. And then, when you, through this plugin, you would be able to tweak your website, make it much more faster. And then eventually WordPress core team is going to take these features within the plugin and implement it into the core product. So it's somewhat of those bleeding edge features that you're going to get through this Performance Lab plugin. Would you use it? I would say yes. However, start using it with your staging site first. And if you are going to use it on your production site, then definitely make sure that you take a backup just in case if you have to roll back. Again, this is something not, I would say, non-technical business owner should do it. I mean, if you're a small business owner, and if your website is on WordPress, you should have someone who knows a little bit of WordPress and talk to them about it. But definitely this is a step in the right directions. It gives you functionality that will, especially the one thing that does is it provides an audit of your CSS and JavaScript files to say, what scripts are cascading style sheet, which is what CSS stands for, and what JavaScript files are actually slowing down your website, and what can you do to remove them or speed up your website. So this is great, especially this day and age when Google is focused on page experience and page speed. And if your page takes more than 3 seconds, you lose visitors, things like that. Okay, enough on this WordPress thing. I think it's time for us to move on to the next topic, which is again similar to websites along the lines, which is Cloudflare. Cloudflare is a company. They're not in marketing. They're a technology company, and they have announced a free web application firewall for websites, especially for people who are on WordPress. But if you're on Drupal, if you're on Joomla, you could still use them. But I think their free offering is geared towards WordPress users because that's how it is. So now how does web application firewall works is that they intercept all the requests before it hits your server that will serve the request. So firewalls are basically, this buffer zone. They see the request, and obviously, there are known exploits out there on WordPress websites, whether it's scanning your site, things like that. And Cloudflare will kind of know that signature pattern, the attack pattern, and they will kind of filter it out. So if someone is sending, if a bad actor is sending, bad requests to your website or malicious requests to your website, Cloudflare is going to intercept, and it's going to kind of, not allow that thing go through. It's like having a security guard in front of your building, where the security guard scans and says, oh, are you an authorized user? Are you a bad user? Are you coming in with all these things like that? That's what a web application firewall is at a core level, and it's free. Obviously, I'm sure there is a paid version as well. So why am I covering it? Again, our listeners are small business owners who have websites, and now there are paid options as well. You don't have to go from Cloudflare. You can go to Securi. They have, and the 3 or 4 different vendors, they have it. But folks, if you don't want to pay for it, this is a good option, right? Absolutely use it. Again, you will be glad you did. If there are people who are trying to inject virus into your websites and inject things like that, you'll be somewhat protected. Some protection is better than zero protection. So with that, let's move on to the next update. The next update is Google has this product called Google's free hotel listing. This was covered last year in our show. So now Google is coming out and they says, hey, Google free hotel listing now shows results on Google Map. So if you look for hotels, you're going to get hotel listings on your Google Maps as well. And of course, you could pay for Google Ads so that your hotel listings show up. Plus, if you have a free hotel listing, that will also show up. Similar to what Google Merchant Center does, right? You can have a free Google Merchant Center account. Your products are going to show up where, someone searches for the product that you sell, as well as paid ads. So that's what Google is going. Google is creating inventory. Google is kind of compartmentalizing it, things like that. I would say definitely if you are a small hotel or a large chain, doesn't matter. Or if you are serving a customer who has a hotel, absolutely get them on this thing. This is definitely helpful. Hey, you want to get as many traffic as you can. And the other thing is right now they have, I'm looking at my notes, is there is a way for you to see how many people clicked on your link, and also they're expanding the report to say other insights such as people who clicked on the free booking link, impressions, booking value, things like that. So absolutely, if you're a hotel or someone who has a hotel, or if you're working with a hotel owner, this is something for you. Okay. With that, let's go to the next update, which is from Snap. Snap has basically launched their first augmented reality certification program, which is strategies for advertisers. It's a 5-part learning route that provides hands-on training, real-world examples to help you get better grasp how augmented reality may help you achieve your business and marketing goals. Should you do it? I think you should. Here's why. This week, Adobe Summit was there, and Adobe Summit also touted this product called augmented reality product that allows you to see objects as in pieces of furniture or pieces of equipment. How will they look and feel in your house, in your environment? So one great example, say you were looking at a toaster. And the toaster, if you're on a 2-dimensional website, you look at a toaster, the toaster looks great, but you want to know, how will this toaster look in my home, in my kitchen? Up until now, you had to close your eyes and kind of think about it. And now Pinterest has this feature where, you can place objects in your room and see how it is. Adobe took a leaf out of that and, out of that success story, and they're creating this augmented reality solution where you can take the toaster and put it in your kitchen and see how that toaster will look in relation to your own, space, size-wise, things like that. Now, so that's why I say augmented reality is something for here to stay. Augmented reality will grow big over time. It's still in its early days, but so where I'm going with this is that, so if you are looking to get a next certification done, maybe this is an area where you can look and see, what can we do now, or what can you learn? Again, if you are not into Snapchat, this is not for you. Okay, with that, let's go to the last update of this week. This was a short week, but this is definitely the largest, the biggest update for this week, as well as maybe for this year. Who knows? But I'm thinking this is the largest update, which is like Google announced the end date for Universal Analytics, which is Google Analytics version 3, also often known as GA-3. Now, Google is saying the last date for support for GA-3 is July 1st, 2023. After that, it's not going to, report any more counts in GA-3 accounts. So it's time for you to move to GA-4. So you have roughly about 15 months to move to GA-4. And you should move to GA-4 right away. Why is that? Well, because number one is, GA-4 is quite different from GA-3. GA-3 was based on IP address, based on tracking you, cookies and things like that. GA-4 is cookieless, right? It works in a very different way. And obviously the other thing is, after what Google says that, you will have access to GA-3 data for 6 months. After that, you will lose it. So you want to create historical data starting now so that you can compare and say, your GA-3 and GA-4 are performing, or GA-4 is performing the way GA-3 is performing. You haven't missed anything, and you want to have that historical data, right? Historical data so that you can compare, do a lot of different things. So with that, folks, I definitely ask you that please start using GA-4. For us, our own business, we have a GA-3 property as well as a GA-4 property. Since I set up marketandgrow.com, and I've been tracking it. And so it's been at least a year that we have GA-4 on our website. Obviously, it's through Tag Manager. You don't see it. It's behind the scenes, but I've been collecting data. We've been, filtering it, things like that. But in about, I would say, middle of summer, we're going to start using GA-4 for reporting purpose and move away from GA-3. With that, folks, that's it for this week in marketing. Now you know everything you need to know. By the way, check out the show notes page if you want to get the link to the certification course from Snapchat, or you want to see the announcements from Google on GA-3 going end of life and GA-4 coming into the picture. With that, take care. Until next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in this week. It was a pleasure to serve you all. Hit the subscribe button so that you remember to sign on next week. Same place, same time for another round of This Week in Marketing.